Greetings friends! In one of my previous videos, I took you along with me during my visit to Rancho Mastatal in Costa Rica. And let me tell you, this place is amazing. In the mountains of the jungles of Costa Rica, there lies this eco-village, Rancho Mastatal, and it is amazing. And during that visit, Ryan, one of the resident students, took me along a number of different tours showing me all the different things that they're doing here on this site, and it is fantastic. He showed us some of the neat things that they are growing in their gardens with permaculture-based systems. And as a homesteader and someone who desires to live a life more connected to the land, this place was like a permaculture paradise. And one of the obstacles and barriers to entry in getting started with homesteading is figuring out how you're going to live, what your housing is going to be. So while we were on this tour, Ryan also showed us a number of the structures and housing that they have on site that the students have built with the resources right on site. And bamboo is one of the resources that they have available. And they've constructed things like the bamboo nursery, as well as a structure that I was really looking forward to. And it was a treehouse made from bamboo.
Yeah, this is the one you wanted to see, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is what everybody wants to see. This is the spot. So this is the hooch, and this was built several years ago. It's a completely bamboo structure. You can see it has a concrete foundation down there that the bamboo is attached to. And we can take a look in here. Up at the top, we've got beds for two up here. This is kind of one of our old, flagship structures here at the ranch, because it does give one the feeling of being in a treehouse.
Wow.
Which is pretty darn cool. I actually happened to randomly meet the guy who designed this building in Bellingham, where I'm from, at like a random business party.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy. He like randomly was like, yeah, I went to this place called the Rancho Mastatal, and I was already signed up for the program.
Oh, wow.
And he designed this structure. So you can see there's a bamboo roofing up here, basically taking the bamboo and flaying it open until it's like one big mat. So you can see that's a piece of bamboo, that's a piece of bamboo, all just cracked and flattened out to be a roofing material. And then we've got the bamboo slats. This is kind of a stylistic choice that is popular here at the ranch. It's very beautiful. Yeah, and you really do get the feeling like you're up in a tree. The thing also sways in the wind,
which
is
really?
kind of wild. But yeah, this is definitely the spot that everybody wants to stay at when they come here.
Wow, I can see that.
Yeah, got some interesting style of furniture construction here, using a combination of cord and bamboo as well. So.
Wow. And what does this control? The net behind me?
Yeah, this is for the mosquito net. This right here, we have to put these up here just to block against rain coming into the structures.
Oh, okay.
But during the springtime, we'll have that down. Yeah.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
And then down below is another.
Yeah, down below is another section down there.
What is that? That is crazy.
This is a monster bamboo that we have.
Wow.
And if you look up, you can't really see the top. It's about 90 feet tall.
Wow.
It's 18 years old. It was planted early, or like right when Timon Robbins started this. It's getting close to reaching maturity, it appears.
Wow.
And
that is crazy.
This is actually an edible form of bamboo. So you can let the shoots grow up every year, which it was about 2 months ago when the shoots came up, and they look like asparagus that are like this big around. They come up and they just look exactly like a giant like Godzilla asparagus, and you can harvest them and eat them.
Wow.
And they're supposed to be pretty good. It's a common practice in Asia to do that. This one here needs to be trimmed back because you can see it's just like dominating the space. It's a pretty beastly thing.
And as thick and as sturdy as those are, would those make good material once you kind of cull them back?
Absolutely. The trick with bamboo is that bamboo is a really careful process of harvest, where you have essentially your like a 5-year growth pattern, where you have your 1-year-old, you have a bunch of 1-year-old, you have a bunch of 2-year-old, you have a bunch of 3-year-old, and a bunch of 4, and then you have finally a 5-year-old. And you're culling every single one of them except for one, and then taking that one and then using that and then curing that thing by forcing borax down it or by drying it out and treating it some other way. But basically these ones here are growing a bit wild, so we're not managing these, so they would not be ideal for construction. 5-year-old bamboo is generally what we're looking for construction grade bamboo.
In addition to harvesting bamboo, they also mill and process other timbers in the area for construction. And not far from the bamboo treehouse, Ryan showed me where he is staying during his time here at Rancho Mastatal.
We're gonna walk up to the goat barn here. This is a structure that was remodeled by the apprentice team 3 years ago, and it was initially the goat barn for the goats that we had here, but as the goats have been sold or butchered, we have now turned this into a structure for the apprentices. So this is where my partner Abby and I live. This is some incredible detailed cutout work here of earthen plastering. So yeah, this is the structure we live in. I'll give you a quick tour of the inside here. This is all done with wattle and daub. So this is your wattle. Your wattle is the inside layer. This is the daub on the outside. This is a relief, or either a relief or a cutaway, where they've got a material that was covering the whole top and then they cut it away, or they added it on top afterwards. So, and you know,
ooh, this is neat.
Welcome to my crib. I still want to do an MTV Cribs episode of this because it's like jungle living. But yeah, we're totally exposed to like the jungle out here. There's really no barriers, no door. So this has definitely been, you're asking earlier about like adjustment. This has been a big part of the adjustment. It's like insects, temperature, wind, rain, things like that. There's no windows really like blocking you from it. You're not in a sealed structure. So yeah, just like adapting to that with mosquito nets, and then over time it just doesn't bother you as much. But I've kind of indulged in a lot of like collection of epiphytes. So these are all air plants, orchids and air plants and other grasses and things that grow in the jungle, and I have like 25 species of epiphytes and air plants hanging up in bamboo planters. We have this massive one right here that fell off of a tree that I just cut the tree limb off and put it up there. That one's about to flower. Yeah, and then we've got our living situation here. This is all frescoed lime. And yeah, this is where we sleep.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So with being in the open here, have you had any animals or anything come by at night where it's like, oh, there's a jaguar?
Straight up. Like there was something screwing around in here, knocking stuff over in the middle of the night, and I got up and I felt that like primal sort of I almost felt like a gorilla or something. I started making sounds like hitting things, and then it scrambled again, and I got up out of here with the light, and we didn't see what it was.
Oh man.
We have there are these neighbor dogs that are just like tromping around, and one day we were just in our bed sleeping, and we heard this like like thing, and there's this dog sitting here, just like his little tail going back and forth, and we were just like, what the heck, like afuera, get out of here. And Lola and Jack sometimes come in here, but yeah, we've definitely had animals. Like right down there, I saw the largest species of weasel family, which is called Tyra.
Okay.
Right down there, it's like a black wolverine, essentially.
Oh, wow.
So considered a rather dangerous animal.
Wow.
We've seen agoutis in here. We've seen anteater. I mean, it's just like you can see the jungles right there.
Yeah.
I mean, the agroforestry zone goes right to out there, and then everything past that's just the jungle.
Wow.
You know, it's just like our plants and what we grow here are kind of like right in conjunction with the edge of the jungle.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I also see some neat paintings that you have over here.
Yeah.
Who's the painter? Is that you?
That's
or?
my partner,
There we
Abby.
go.
She's phenomenal. We can show you a finished product here. That one's the ranch is asked her to do some artwork for their new structures at Bernie's.
Wow, that is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, we were talking about the bamboo, and she her work speaks for itself.
Does she sell any of her work?
She does.
She does. Where can we go to find how to buy some of her work?
You know, that's a good question. You can follow her on Instagram.
At Rancho Mastatal, they also host workshops where participants are able to have hands-on experience with eco building, making cob buildings and bricks with resources from the area. And as my tour with Ryan continued, he next took me to another set of buildings where they had used a combination of different building techniques. And as we walked out to these buildings, it had one of the prettiest views that I had ever seen.
The starboard court. This is one of our flagship natural building structures here at the ranch. It's constructed with timber frame and wattle and daub. The wattle and daub is a Japanese style of natural construction that utilizes that leans on the strength of a stick frame construction, where you have big timbers, and then in between the timbers we have a lattice work of some textured thing. In this case, we're using a bamboo lattice work that starts in the middle of the board right here and then extends across the side, and then we're covering that with a mixture of basically a cob mixture. So we're using an aggregate, a straw, and a clay binder to create our walls here. And what it does excellently is it's very easy to throw up. It creates a great sound, visual, wind barrier, insect barrier, but it doesn't rely on the strength of the wall itself. It's relying on the wood, and so it doesn't need to be as thick as like straw bale or cob or adobe, where it really does need to be quite thick, and you're actually relying on the earthen structure to provide the structural support. Whereas in this case, this is really just a barrier, and the thing would be held up on its own without all the earthen stuff. You can see this is constructed with lime plaster, in this case on the inside. The outside is done with clay.
Wow.
Whereas the inside here is done with various lime plasters. We've experimented with a lot of different methodologies here, and you can use lime or clay, just different preferences for folks and different performance characteristics.
And
but the beautiful thing, yeah, this is insane. I mean,
wow.
You just wake up, kick yourself back in this here hammock, and that right there is La Cangreja. That's one of the more poorly known of national parks in Costa Rica, and it's really incredible. It's primordial up there.
Have you been up there at all?
I have. I've gone to the top.
Wow.
It's insane. The view, you know, you can see almost all the way out to, you can see Parita, you can see the ocean, you can see all the way out to, almost out to San Jose. It's a huge mountain. So the cool thing is that the ranch has, I believe it's like 5 to 6 hectares of developed land, where they have either crops, tree or annual, and then structures. But then the rest of the property, the total property, is like almost 300 acres.
Wow.
And so the goal of all that land was to put it into conservation. So everything down below us here, and then out that way towards that valley, and up and down this valley is something like, you know, 285 maybe acres of conserved land.
Wow.
And that abuts directly up against La Cangreja National Park, which creates a large conservation corridor for you know, the sorts of species that we want to see here. Things like large predators, like your large cats, ocelots,
jaguars at all?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, so they need that kind of land to roam, and they need large contiguous areas of it. So this provides for that. We see all sorts of stuff here. I've seen giant anteaters.
Wow.
Yeah. So this here is our composting toilet, and it's one of the really important parts of how we minimize our impact here on the environment is by 100% managing 100% of our human waste here on the ranch, and turning something that's generally made into waste by adding water and turning it into basically a compost fertilizer. So we have a structure that's essentially a double chambered concrete platform here raised up off the ground. We have 2 holes in it with essentially a seat that collapses down, that basically sits on top of that. And then you do your dues normal, and then you basically add sawdust in there to turn that human manure into, with the sawdust, into something that we can spread on our crops. And it's a really incredible way to properly manage all the waste products that are coming off your site. We poison a lot of water essentially by mixing it with our own feces and urine. And instead, with a no water system, we're able to turn our human waste into this.
Oh, wow.
That right there is ready to go on tree crops.
Wow.
No risk, or very, very, very low risk of human-borne pathogens in here.
Especially with putting them on your trees.
Absolutely, and in fact, if you go, if you take a couple extra steps, you can put this on any crop.
And is that a shower over here?
Yeah. So this is a really beautiful shower we here have at the ranch. This is lime plastering with a tile on the outside, and lime plastering is, again, you're ending up with a mix that is using lime as the binder. And the major difference that we've done here, if you come and feel it, is that we've done a process called Tatalact on this. And Tatalact is a Moroccan technique for stone polishing with soap, the lime, to create what is essentially like a pretty, not waterproof, but extremely water resistant barrier, which is great for showers. So you can see that just like runs off.
Yeah, it's very slick on it.
So that just runs right off of there. And yeah, it takes a ton of work. You take a little stone and you soap up the surface of the pure lime, and you go like this.
Oh, wow.
And you rub that thing down until it's totally polished.
Wow.
It takes a ton of work. So this is like an enormous amount of work. They've also got a lime fresco in here, which is using these pigments and stuff to give it a really beautiful color. So yeah, that's one of the things that we really love here doing at the ranch is plastering. It's really one of the heart and soul pieces of the ranch is the natural building, plastering, timber frame construction stuff. So this at the Palapa, we have a shower. This was a really quick apprentice project that we did during a workshop. And basically this is adobe. So adobe is just the cob material made into bricks that we laid out and then connected it with a mortar of adobe or of cob mix. And so you can get these really beautiful organic shapes out of this. But the rest of the structure is done in wattle and daub, and this is what it looks like when we first apply it up there. So when you scrape it up onto that lattice work in between here underneath there of bamboo, and then you poke it in with this thing called a devil float, you get this textured surface here that you can apply your next layer to. And then it builds up eventually.
These doors are beautiful.
Yeah, this is all wood, grown, harvested, and milled on site. Milled at least by somebody in the community, if not by our employees. So 2 rooms made with wattle and daub, screened off, earthen construction floors with a concrete foundation. So you can see the concrete is a rim around the outside, but it's not underneath it, right? And this is an earthen floor that the apprentices did this year. It's really, really nice how cool it is. It's very smooth, very comfortable. A lot of people say that earthen floors feel really soft.
It does.
Yeah, which is pretty weird because it's like it's rock,
yeah,
like rock and dirt, and with a linseed oil over the top. This is all done with as a lime plaster, done by the core team here, and yeah, it's It's really, really stunning. So one of the things that with the natural building that can be kind of misleading is we do use natural materials here, and we do source sustainably from a regional standpoint, harvesting our own stuff from our land as part of our agroforestry project, but also employing people here at the ranch and in the community to mill the wood. And yet at the same time, certain things can't really be avoided, and that's the use of concrete. We found that concrete, the way we use it like this, is one of the best ways we can minimize the risk that our structures are damaged by termites and by earthquakes. So while it's not natural construction per se to be using concrete, we're using it in a targeted fashion to accomplish a very specific goal. So instead of having a huge concrete foundation, and a lot of people are just building fully out of concrete here in Costa Rica because of its earthquake, its resistance to earthquake, and also the fact that there's a government subsidy for it here in Costa Rica. But for us, we're just using it around the edge so that we can really clearly see when termites have hit the building, and we can address that really quickly, and it helps us prevent the damage from earthquakes. So it's an interesting compromise of sustainability here, where we do need to use a little bit of concrete to make sure our structures last, but we're going to minimize the use of it so that we're not contributing as much to the issues of climate change and the massive amount of energy it takes to make concrete. It's about 1% of the anthropogenic emissions globally every year is from concrete production. So,
as our tour of the natural buildings wrapped up, we headed back to the main house. And as we headed back, there was a question that was going on in my mind. Since this place is really remote and most of the buildings that they have on property are basic, I was wondering, and I had to ask Ryan, what are some of the amenities that they have here?
So we have most of the amenities you would come to expect from living in a developed country. We have a washing machine in here that is available for the apprentices. We have 2 more washing machines over at the Henke, which is one of our communal living structures that we have for the apprentices. We also have a freezer and a refrigerator, and those are pretty critical things if we're going to be living out here as remote as we are. It's not that remote in a sense, but in actuality, the way it plays out here is it's really 3.5 hours to San Jose, and so those sorts of things are really useful for us. And yeah, we do have them. We dry all of our clothes on lines, though. It is difficult to get things clean here. Most of the clothes you get will mold. It's just the reality of being here. Like these, I don't know. Yeah, these are completely molded through. There's just no way to stop it. This shirt too. Yeah. But you know, the tropics are hard on valuables, hard goods, soft goods. Just about everything rots, molds, is eaten by termites, disintegrates. The silicone case on my phone is just like completely eaten away here. Oh wow. Which is wild. I don't even get how that happens, but yeah, it's a nice lesson in the impermanence of things. You know, it's just nothing's forever.
Yeah, that's right.
So.
In addition to the washer and dryer and refrigerator, they also have running water in this main house, as well as plumbing for a toilet, in addition to a library and rooms for people to stay in, and a nice wood burning pizza oven, and nice areas for people to gather in. So this is really a neat place. But as we got back, it was lunchtime. So make sure you stay tuned for the next video about Rancho Mastatal, and you get to see all the different foods that they're able to store and grow and eat while they are here. So that's it for now. Make sure you stay tuned for that video, and if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with the videos that we release each time we release them. That's it for now. We'll see you next time. As always, be strong, grow on, and live life without excuses.